So let's take a look at what is the difference between dice influence and dice control. You know, the whole thing about craps is this is one of the first things I learned. 50 some odd years ago, walking into a crap game, the casino in Vegas was gotta get on a table with some good shooters or a good shooter, find a good shooter, who's shooting well, that kind of thing. And I always thought that was just, the random uh, probability of it all. Every once in a while there'd be a table that's hot, all the shooters are doing well, and that kind of thing. I never considered there might be a skill to being a good shooter. Shooting well involving some sort of skill, some sort of a way to position the dice, toss the dice in a way that the results would be more in your favor, to move the edge in your favor, the shooter's favor, the player's favor. I just thought that was something that just happened randomly and be the right place, the right time. Good for you and good for everybody else at the table. And I think there's, you know, a lot of uh, craps YouTube content that still focuses on that aspect, that it is a game of probability, which it is, no doubt about it, and it is a game of being in the right place at the right time, being in uh, the right part of the variance in the infinity of the numbers part of the game, the math part of the game. But I submit to you, with all due respect, that there is skill involved in throwing dice on a crap table that will minimize some numbers and maximize other numbers. And of course, if you're playing the game on the light side or the deuce side, you want to minimize the seven. If you're playing the game on the other side, you hope the seven appears as often as it ought to, which is way more than than you want if you're a do player. And that is the beauty of the game. It's the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, the on, the off, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to uh, win, I believe, more money or have an opportunity to win, be successful in the game and be a winner at the game more. Just forget about the money aspect of it. Be a winner at the game more when you're throwing the dice or when you're playing with other people who are skilled at throwing the dice and setting the dice than if you're playing at a table that's just depending 100% on the random aspect of the game, which is two cubes numbered 1 through 6, 36 possibilities, and hoping that you get in the right, you're on the right variance in the infinity of the game. So I played craps that way for years, uh, but but understanding that part of it, but betting carefully and betting the right sort of probabilities, the right sort of numbers that had the best opportunity to come up, the ones that had the less house edge, sort of so on and so forth, and and then began to understand that you can apply some skill, because it's the only game at the casino where you, the shooter, or a person at the table who is part of the game, has the ability to influence, I use that word influence, the result, or determines the result. And in determining that result, you can exert some influence over the result. So, what I'm going to do now is talk a little bit about what a lot of people call dice influence and what people call dice control. And this is all with the basic understanding that you can put dice in a preset that will have an influence on the outcome as long as the preset is not disrupted dramatically in the landing of the dice and the movement thereafter. Okay, so you see out there that wall. That wall is a bunch of pyramid shapes. That wall is designed to create a random result when the dice are thrown into that wall. All casinos will require that the dice hit that back wall or come in close enough proximity to it that they feel that it's hit it, or at least often enough hits it. And that is right there. When you stop and think about it in terms of the idea that dice influence, or dice control is a fallacy, it can't happen, it's ridiculous. Why is that there? If that's the case, why does the casino go to the trouble of putting that there? Why are those things there? Those things are there to make sure when the dice hit them, they move around in a random manner. Because they know, the casino knows that if you preset the dice and throw them in a manner that will minimize movement, that you can give yourself, as a shooter, an advantage in the probabilities of the numbers occurring in the dice game. So let's just look at that toss. Hit that back wall. It did not hit up here at all, and it ended up as a 3. The set that I was throwing, or the way that I had preset the dice, was in what's called a hardway set. So let's just throw some dice here, and I'm just going to be basically throwing them out there. I'm using a hardway set. So what I'm doing right now is this is called dice influence. I'm presetting the dice and I'm throwing them out there, and they're going to land in a way that the casino, most casinos are not going to get upset for the fact that both didn't hit the back wall and all that sort of stuff. So here we have a 5. So in the game of craps, you want to hit a 5 now before a 7. So I'm just going to, again, position them in that hardway set, which is a preset. If you're watching this video, you should know what a hardway set is, and I'm just going to throw them like that. That's dice influence. I put them in a set and I toss them. I got a 1 off axis 10, and that's dice influence. You're setting the dice, you're throwing them, they're going to make contact with that back wall and whatnot, but you're hoping that the preset of the dice, the position you're putting them in, will give you an edge in the result, that they won't move around too much because you're throwing them consistently, and so on and so forth. That's dice influence. Dice control, on the other hand, is where you know that the number you want to hit is 5. Let me move this down so it's a little more clear. Okay, we want to hit a 5. I want to now put the dice in a preset and throw them in a way that's going to give me more of an opportunity for a 5 in the result, or a 9 perhaps in the result. I'm going to throw them in a way to a specific spot. It's going to give me more, hopefully, influence / control of the result. Okay, so there's a hard 6, 3, 3, hard 6. I was in fact using a 3V set. There's a 9. Okay, so that's the other side of the 5. I'm throwing the set to a place and a position. I'm trying to hit this number or that number. I'm positioning the dice so that I'm going to hopefully get one of those two. There's the 5. There it is. 4, 1, 5. That is dice control. What I was doing before was dice influence. Okay, this is a 12-minute video. I've been doing videos for freaking years, and I have been talking about dice setting and dice control. I started off saying dice sets, dice control, and then the controversy came up about, oh, there's no fucking way you can control the goddamn dice, man. And I said, okay, I will give you that concession. You can't control the dice, but you certainly can influence them. And so, and myself and many other folks on YouTube went to the dice influence thing. I'm going back the other way, man. Okay, when you become a skilled shooter, you first learn how to position the dice. That's called a preset. You understand what those presets can do for you in terms of minimizing some numbers and maximizing other numbers. And then you really start focusing in on the skill of launching the damn freaking cubes to the other side of the wall and getting them to bounce a little bit off that alligator thing down there, as I pointed out earlier. And when you first start working on that, you become a dice influencer. You're influencing the result. And when you get good at it, you're controlling the freaking dice. You're not controlling it saying, I'm going to throw a particular number right now, but you know that you're controlling it within a certain number of tosses. My chances of eliminating the 7 or minimizing the occurrence of the 7 and maximizing the, say, like I just was saying right now, 5s and 9s, maximizing those numbers or some other number is going to go up. Now you are controlling the dice. That's all I have to say about it. I really am pretty much done doing videos and trying to show people and explain it, so on and so forth. It is what it is. And if you want to really be a skilled shooter and have more success at the game of craps than not, you got to practice your ass off. You got to get some kind of a good practice rig that you can work on all this stuff. And once you get to the point where you think you really have some influence and some control over those damn dice, then you got to learn how to bet it. Just saying. So stay safe, stay happy, stay stay safe, stay happy, stay safe, y'all. And remember, luck has really got very little to do with it. Bud Slide out.